Mm-hmm.
As an actor, have you ever felt that there was a role you were taking on where you needed to prove something?
Huh. I suppose so. I mean, I suppose there's lots of things that come along like that. Yeah, I mean, in some ways, I feel like that all the time. Not that I'm going to prove something, or maybe not anything to anybody other than myself, that I'm not afraid to do something in particular or something. I mean, I've played some roles that were so challenging just to prove that I could get through it to myself was important. I mean, I've done some things that were so large and demanding and hard and stuff like that, that, yeah, I mean, plays I've done actually more than movies feel that way. But I feel like I don't necessarily feel the pressure to prove it to other people, but I feel it to myself, yeah.
Your character and Paul Rudd's character, Renee, they have a very antagonistic relationship. They learn a lot from one another.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you took away from the experience of collaborating with Mr. Paul Rudd?
Well, Mr. Paul Rudd is a much more, I admire people like this who can sort of be as playful as he is all the time, and as inventive and not so locked into things the way I get very locked into things. And I get very sort of like by the book and very kind of pedantic about things, but he can improvise much more freely and keep it within and not be afraid to do all that stuff. And I'm way too careful an actor, and he's much more free and easy, and that's nice to be around. It's really nice to be around.
For this film in particular, what were you most nervous about conveying?
It's interesting. I mean, I think the tricky thing with this character is he actually doesn't even say a whole lot. He doesn't talk a lot, you know, and it's like to convey everything in somebody that sort of beaten down who's not really that smart. He's not the smartest guy in the world. And he really isn't. He's not deeply stupid, but he's not. He only knows how to do one thing, basically. And he's not the smartest guy in the world. He doesn't know how to express himself very well. He's pretty interior and beaten down and pissed off. So somehow, with all of that happening, you have to be able to convey a guy who's actually got the capacity to do something completely selfless like he does at the end of the movie. And he does something that most people wouldn't do, actually. And so somehow there has to be a capacity for the feeling he has for his kid and everything to realize that the right thing for him to do is what he does at the end. That's going to help the kid more than anybody else. And that's actually going to be good for him, too, in the end. You know?
If someone said, there will be no more acting for you, you have to just do something
completely different.
Right. What do you think you would do?
That's a really good question. I don't know. That's a really good... I suppose I'd probably... God, I don't know. I really don't know. And it's funny because I think as an actor you get to do actually so many different things, or pretend to do them, that you begin to just... Acting is the only thing you can conceive of doing. I don't know. I suppose I would do something, maybe teaching or something like that, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Good thing you don't have to make that choice. Right?
Yeah, not right now. Yeah, not right yet. We'll see, though. Yeah.
Being that you're an actor who can take on small projects like this, and John dies at the end, and award season fair like 12 Years as a Slave, which is getting a lot of buzz right now, how did you manage to carve out such a coveted career where you can sort of do any kind of project?
I don't know. I really don't know. I am lucky that way, but I think I've always said one of the easiest things to be as an actor is to be a white male character actor, because they need you everywhere. There's always work for you, and they need you wherever you can go. You can be stealth more. You can go around because they always need a guy to play whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm lucky that way, and so I think a lot of it's just luck. Well, I appreciate that. A little bit, but it's mostly luck.
You have so many interesting projects coming out. You have like 5 movies coming out at the moment, and then Saving Mr. Bangs next year, Amazing Spider-Man 2. Amazing character in that. What was the inspiration for the Rhino character? Did you draw a lot from the classic comics?
I drew a lot of what I remembered from the comics, and there was a cartoon when I was a kid. There was a very weird psychedelic Spider-Man cartoon when I was a little kid that I remember the Rhino from. So a lot of it was just drawn on like a weird memory I had. I looked a little bit at the comic book stuff, the old stuff, but you know, it's all being invented for the movie. So a lot of it was just what was going to strike me as fun when I read what was on the page, and looking at the kinds of Russian criminal types that exist now in the world. And so, you know, and playing around with the stereotypes of it, frankly, and the cliches of it is fun, you know. And then he's an animal, you know. I mean, he's literally like an animal, and he's really stupid. He's not smart, and he's literally just this kind of big, dumb beast. And that was really fun to do, you know. He's not smart. And so that was a fun thing to do. And I got to speak in Russian and all this stuff, so it was fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Can you speak a little Russian now?
I don't know that I can remember any of it off the top of my head. I had to just learn what I had to do. If I think of something, I'll say it, but I can't remember any of it off the top of my head.
You're set to pay the Crawley family a visit on Downton Abbey.
Right.
Possibly have an FX series in the works.
Yeah.
What made you decide that a small screen venture would be good?
I know, I mean, nothing other than it was interesting work that came my way, you know, and I've always been interested in, I like television, and so the FX thing that I am going to start shooting next year, we shoot the pilot, is a show called Hoke, which is a very strange cop drama. And I really like genre stuff like that, and I would really like to play this very peculiar cop. So the opportunity came along, and it's much more suited. They're based on novels. The series is based on a series of novels, but it's much more suited to a TV show than a movie. It's a better place to do it, so that's why I do that. And then Downton Abbey comes along, and I'd not seen it that much, but I thought it was great, and they offered me this thing. And I'm only in the finale episode of this one thing. If they want me to do more, I'll do more. But I just watched it. I thought, this is fantastic. This is the best soap opera I've ever seen. You know, so I was like, I want to be a part of that.